Hello and welcome to Faultlines. I'm your host Shahzad Raza. Pakistan People's Party has taken an initiative of taking all political parties on board, especially the opposition parties, on important national security issues. And the overture or the initiative by the Pakistan People's Party has also extended to Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. But yet again, the PTI, as usual, refused to come on board and sit on the table and discuss important issues like the deal with the IMF, economic reforms, governance issues, and especially the war on terror the country is still facing after all those years. It seems that Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf is not really thinking of the larger national interest, but what they are thinking of their petty political gains. And why Pakistan People's Party is so much hopeful that it would convince the opposition parties to discuss the contentious political issues and develop a general consensus, especially on the economic reforms the government has initiated and much anticipated by the people of Pakistan. Why it is important to bring all the political parties on board? We have a democracy, we are a democracy, but yet it's a government prerogative to take the decision as it thinks it's best in the national interest. Of course, there is a parliament, there is an oversight, and the government really is accountable before the people of Pakistan and answerable to the elected representative of the people of Pakistan in the National Assembly, in the Senate, and the 4 provincial assemblies. This is the issues which we are going to discuss in this program, and especially when there is a change of government in United States of America, and President Donald Trump is making aggressive and some of its critics say harsh decisions. They are going to change the regional and global situation for the countries like Pakistan, and how we are going to deal with it, and are we prepared, are we united to deal with the crisis and the challenges that are emanating from within the country or outside the country. And this is another issue we are going to discuss in this program. And we are with us Dr. Jasim Anwar. He's a development economist. He's joining us on the video link. Thank you very much, Dr. Jasim, for joining us. And we have Dr. Niaz Murtaza, a known political analyst. You have seen him on the television time and again. Thank you so much, Dr. Niaz Murtaza, as well. And very soon we will have Safiul Laghori, Rashid Safi, and Sharmila Faruqi as well. Dr. Niaz Murtaza, let me begin by asking you, when Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, the chairperson of Pakistan People's Party, took this initiative and he asked, he met with the Prime Minister and he announced time and again on the media that he is going to discuss all these controversial issues and the tricky issues with the opposition parties, and he was very, very hopeful. But we have seen in the past that Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, despite all the reasoning and all those the evidence put before them, they were not ready to come on board, despite the fact that they knew what is important for the country, for the nation, in their larger interest. Why he's so optimistic at this point in time, and why he has taken this initiative despite knowing the past of that particular political party? Dr. Niaz Murtaza.
Thank you very much. Obviously, any kind of initiative taken by any party to, bring down the political temperature should be welcomed by everybody, who's interested in seeing Pakistan being peaceful and progressing economically. Obviously, Pakistan faces a lot of internal and external challenges, some of which you have mentioned, the security situation, the economic situation, then on the external environment with the changes in the US. So if we have, a stable political system, that is the best guarantee for a country to, deal with all of its other problems. If your political system is working functionally, opposition parties and the government are in a regular contact, that's always helpful for the country. So there were, past attempts as well. There was one involving direct negotiations between, the PMLN and its allies with the PTI. Unfortunately, that died down for various reasons. And now, as the situation keeps evolving, I think it's good for the PPP to take this initiative because it's, the oldest party in the country. It's seen a lot of ups and downs. It's been there in so many eras. And then, of course, Mr. Zardari is not officially with the party.
Doctor, I'm sorry to cut you. Dr. Murtaza, can you hold your thoughts for a while? We have with us Dr. Sharmila Farooqi. She's a member of the National Assembly belonging to Pakistan People's Party. Thank you very much, Dr. Sharmila Farooqi, for joining us in this program. My question is, why are you so optimistic that this time Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf would really come on board and actually would sit down with all other political parties and discuss the contentious political issues and in fact and ensure the political harmony that is much needed at this point in time?
Thank you, Shazad. I think it always helps to be optimistic rather than being a pessimist. And Pakistan People's Party has always believed that if there is a will, there is a way. And we have always believed in consensus politics. We believed in bringing people together, political parties together on national contentious issues. And we feel that if required and if requested, we will be able to play an important role in bringing the opposition together on the national issue of course, the security situation and the new spate of terrorism and extremism in the country. I think it's very important that that Pakistan People's Party, who has been the most affected by terrorism in Pakistan, a party which has given so many sacrifices, from Shaheed Mohtarma Benazir Bhutto Sahiba's shahadat, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto Saab's shahadat, and so many of our workers, Jalas and Jalis, who have, succumbed to this spate of terrorism. We actually believe and we firmly believe in the fact that if everybody comes together in the country and there is consensus on this, there is nothing that we cannot achieve, especially with regard to fighting this war against terrorism. So I think it's important that in a situation like this, in the current situation where we see that Balochistan is reeling with a spate of terrorist activities, there have been severe issues in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. So if any of the provinces are on the fire, I don't think Pakistan can actually progress, and there can't be, real time.
One question, Dr. Sharmila Farooqi, that whenever we discuss, we talk and discuss on the basis of empirical evidence or whatever we have seen or experienced in the past. So the past is not very bright as far as these overtures or the efforts to engage Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf in the dialogue process are concerned. So why are you so hopeful this time, and why do you think that the results would be any different from the past?
Well, Shazad, I tend to agree with you to a certain extent that our past experiences with PTI and their U-turns has not been very encouraging. In fact, it's been actually discouraging. It's very difficult to trust them, and it's very difficult to bring them around, because even if you do, even at the last moment, they take a U-turn and they deny everything. But I think there's no harm trying again, and I think I sincerely hope that better sense prevails on them, and for the betterment of the country, for stability in the country, and to improve the security situation in the country, they do come around and they sit together, and we are able to build in a consensus for this war against terror, because the situation on ground is really, really extreme. And unfortunately, it pains us to see when our security forces, are killed, and, civilians, there's collateral damage. And then, the issues are so deep rooted that we really need each and everyone to be on board, to develop a consensus and to move forward with clarity. It's very important. So, of course, the kind of
That's true that. Point well taken. It's been several days that Bilawal Bhutto Zardari took that initiative, but we haven't heard any statement publicly by Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf leadership that they are ready to engage into a dialogue process. If you have any information about that, if they have sent any message to Pakistan People's Party that they would be sitting with you guys in future and discuss all these critical issues, please share with us.
I think the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf is not really interested in developing a consensus, or they're not really interested in, discussing the real issues that the people of Pakistan are facing at this point in time. And as I hear and as I see in different, news items and on television, and different from different people, that there has been a lot of dissent within their own parties over various issues. Uh, you know, there's one statement coming from one PTI leader, and there's another statement coming from, and I think they are now divided into different factions. So I think there is a lot of disruption within their own ranks and files. So I think first they need to sort that out before working on anything else. But nonetheless, they are an entity, and you can't deny that fact, and they need to be on board. Nonetheless, whether they are on board or they are not on board, what needs to be done to better the security situation in the country will be done. But it would always be helpful, and it would always be a step in the right direction if they are on board. Which, as you said, and as I also believe somewhere in my heart that they can't be trusted, which is the fact, unfortunately. But that's the kind of reputation they have developed over the last so many years.
Yeah. Of course, they have developed that reputation that they cannot be trusted. Couldn't agree more with you, Dr. Sharmila Farooqi. Thank you so much for joining us in the show. Dr. Niaz Murtaza, can you finish your thought, please? And let me add one question here. What Sharmila Farooqi was telling us, that Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf cannot be trusted given the past of the leadership and this particular political party. If one particular political party is not coming on board to discuss and resolve critical challenges the country is facing at the moment, then how long the entire country or the other political parties, the government, the entire state and the nation should wait for them?
Well, I mean, I tend to agree with what Dr. Farooqi mentioned, that, it's a reality. I mean, PTI does have its, areas of support. A lot of people, support it. It has a large number of people sitting in the assemblies, the Senate, and then, of course, it has a government in a very critical province, KP. So because of all that, whatever the nature of its, past has been, the fact is that, you have to deal with it one way or the other. If you try to, completely, remove it from, the political scene, or at least the political negotiations and discussions, that is also not a helpful situation for the country. So I think it's a good,
If they really are not willing to come on board, then how should one or the government, to be specific, convince them? How can you convince them? You really cannot put a gun on their forehead.
Well, I can remember one occasion at least. There are several occasions where they refused to come on board, but there was at least one occasion. So, say after the APS, the whole nation came together and they ended their dharna, and then, they parted.
Dr. Niaz, you remember that was a very crucial and a special time. I mean, they were having this sit-in right in front of the Parliament House, so-called 120 days of dharna, and then that tragic incident took place, and that was their, it was a compulsion that they should have come on board. Otherwise, their politics would have been finished by now.
Today, in many ways, terrorism is increasing. There was this very unfortunate, train incident, very unparalleled incident globally. So in many ways, the situation is similar to that. So it's quite possible. And as you said, there are different factions within, PTI. Some are more hardcore.
We'll come to that on the politics of different factions within that political party. Dr. Jasim Anwar, why it is so much important, and thank you very much for the long wait to begin with, why it is so much important to bring all the political parties on board. I mean, we have a democracy. People have mandated one political party into power, and that mandate basically that gives that political party the power to take the decision as it thinks appropriate. So why it is very much important, and why it is utmost important to be specific to come one political party on board? What if that political party is not joining the talks, or it's not coming on the table discussing the matters which are important for the larger national interest, and they are withholding themselves for their own political gains? So why it is important? Why we are so obsessed with it to develop this so-called political harmony?
Yes, actually, Shazad, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I will, respond to your questions with two dimensions. Number one is actually the thought process behind the political judgments and the political visions, and then the political party maturity. So it's a known fact that the parties develop over decades and decades and decades. It's not one day that the political thought process is developed. Another thing is the national interest, the Pakistan first, like you have seen the Trump various initiatives, although this seems to be very very harsh, but actually it is basically America first. The vision is clearly demonstrating that, bringing into that political contour of the global power shift into Pakistan local politics. uh, it is very utmost important that Pakistan should be first, and for that, political harmony indirectly means political and security stability, which actually drives the economic change in the country. We have seen how the FDI volume is shifted in over a period of time. When we look at the quarters, last years and last years and last years, and then those times when we have more security incidences, it dropped.
Doctor, one point here. You are a development economist, and you know how economy works of any country in the world. So, in Pakistan's case, do you think if Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf doesn't come on board, if they are not willing to join the much needed negotiation on the larger important concerns like the deal with the IMF and other economic reforms and the stability what we are talking about, so what would happen? Would we collapse? The country would cease to exist. The economy would not function if Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf is still refusing, and if they don't come on board. I mean, why are they using this as a pressure tactic or arm twisting the government or other political parties which are willing to steer the country out of the crisis?
Very true, very true. Actually, it's the timing. Actually, many parties, it's their survival war. Let's say uh, the IMF mission is there, and now we are about to negotiate some other international trade agreements, and similarly the CPEC phase 2 is pacing up, and our upcoming budget is also there. So there are some minor petty issues which actually relates to their survival. That's why certain parties, they raise their agendas in such a crucial time, when at one front government is actually dealing with IMF, on another front there is security crisis, and there is so many other external powers who don't want Pakistan to come on the economic stability path. And thirdly, we have the budget process now in shaping up, and the IMF delegation will be helping Pakistan to shape up the budget as well. So in such a situations, when such parties, who though they represent certain portion of the population, I mean they are some representative, but they need to respect democratic party who is actually in power to support in this crucial time. Now let's say if any party is bringing up their own agendas for their own political gains, I'm pretty sure that the majority nation and the people, they want that stability, and it will not affect the overall economic growth that is happening.
Exactly. Majority people, and we absolutely believe that the majority and absolute majority of Pakistani people, they want stability and they want this petty and bad political wrangling. We also have with us Rashid Safi Saab. He's a known political analyst, and Safiullah Ghori Saab. Thank you so much, both of you guys, for joining us. Rashid Safi Saab, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you, Shazad.
All right, all right. Thank you so much for joining the show. Let me begin with asking very simple question. And since you know Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf very well, what's wrong with this political party? What's wrong with its leadership? Can you enlighten us?
Thank you, Shazad. It's a very, you describe this as very simple question, but the answer is very complicated. But if we analyze the political journey of the PTI, so we can found the answer for your question. As we know, this is a very decisive moment in Pakistan's journey. Those who stand with the state, with stability and with the constitution will move forward. Those who choose confrontation, chaos, or violence, I think they will be left behind. So PTI is doing not only bad and worse thing with their own political career, but they are also playing with flame in the sense that they are also damaging the structure of political scenario of Pakistan, and even if I describe this, that PTI are also damaging the state structure in many aspects. So this is this is not the first time that PTI is keeping themselves from the political dialogue. PTI is once again showing that it has
Taking advantage of your presence here and your experience in journalism and your authority of discussing and analyzing the different political parties in Pakistan. The question is, why should we hold ourselves hostage to such a petty politics by Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf? One question. And the second is, who is exactly calling the shot in this particular political party? Is this KPCM or Barrister Gohar or the sisters of the so-called founder of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf? Exactly who's the person in charge in this political party?
Shazad, look, the man behind of every decision is just the chairman of PTI, who is behind the bar. So these all other names are just puppets. They cannot confront their leader. He's like ruling, and he's like dictating his party as a dictator. So PTI leadership out from the jail, they don't have any decision like the decision power, and they just following the Adiala jail instruction. So I think Ali Amin and Dapoor in somehow at the province level, he maybe have some say. Barrister Gohar maybe in some petty like organization structure, he can play some role. But overall, taking part in negotiation, taking.
Very right. Thank you so much, Rashid Safi Saab, for sparing your time and joining the show. Safiullah Ghori Saab, can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly well, Shazad.
All right. Thank you so much. The thing is, Pakistan People's Party in Pakistan, Muslim League Nawaz, they have their past. And in the past, many years ago, both the political party, they used to be arch rivals. And there was a lot of bad blood and, every example you could quote what they did to each other. But over the period of time, they realized that how they should engage each other in the fast developing the political situation in Pakistan, and that's why we have the stable democratic dispensation in the country for many years. Now, would it take Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf another 20 or 30 years to realize this fact, or are they sane enough to, learn from the experience and the mistakes of other political parties?
Thank you, Siddharth. So, obviously, I don't know the answer to the kind of time that it would take PTI to learn its lessons. It's not learned them as yet, even though Imran Khan says that he has been struggling politically for 20 years. And he has been in politics in one form or another for 2 decades now. So, it's sufficient time to have learned lessons. The fact that he hasn't learned any lessons, and I don't know how long he's going to live. So obviously, I am not in a position to comment on what's going to happen in another 20 years when Imran Khan is most likely not going to be alive, and I don't know who will then be the ruler of PTI.
Long, normally, how long would it take for any political party to get that level of maturity?
I don't think it has anything to do with time. I think it has more to do with whoever is at the head of affairs. They can be young and mature, or I really don't think that it takes a particular amount of time for people to learn this. But getting back to this overall debate, I was listening in, and I have some comments on why I believe PTI is not participating in the political process. And the reason why PTI is not participating in the political process, even though the Pakistan is fraught with matters of security and there are terrorist attacks taking place and all of these things are happening, is because it suits PTI not to do so. So, for instance, when the APS attack happened and Niaz Murtaza Saab mentioned that PTI did participate.
How does it suit PTI to not to engage in any dialogue process? Because of they are gaining public sympathy, they are getting the more vote bank outside KP and other Punjab. Why?
Hear me out, Shazad. Hear me out. I'm telling you. So the reason is simply because of the terrorists targeting all other political parties. The terrorists have targeted people in PTI, killed countless people. Sorry, in People's Party, they've killed countless people in People's Party. They've killed countless people in ANP. These are the two parties that have had politicians being targeted directly by the Taliban. And the Taliban have also, in no unclear terms, clearly stated that all Taliban supporters are supposed to vote for PTI. So there is some sort of an arrangement wherein the TTP clearly favors PTI themselves as the rulers of.
Why would Taliban or all those non-state actors, Fitna al Khawarij, would target Pakistan Tehreek Insaf if they are discussing economic issues with the government?
Not say no. Everything has to do with security and economics both. If the economics of the country is tied in with the security, I'll give you a recent example. Recently, after the PLA attacks that took place, and we know that Afghanistan was behind it, Pakistan decided to expel a lot of Afghan citizens. What was the reaction of CM Gandapur? He said no. We will not allow Pakistan to expel Afghan citizens, foreign citizens on our soil because they are our brothers. So the CM refused. On multiple occasions,
That is very interesting argument you just brought up, Safiullah Ghori Saab. But let me invite Dr. Niaz Murtaza to comment on this. Dr. Niaz, would you agree with Safiullah Ghori Saab that because of that fear, Pakistan Tehreek Insaf is not engaging with the government on even on the economic issues? If they would engage with the government, they start talking to the government, they would face the wrath or the anger or those attacks by the non-state actors. Do you think that it's a valid argument?
Well, from what I have seen, I don't know if it's, the most important reason. It may be one of many reasons, but I think the main reasons have to do with its, differences, political differences with the government, its claims about, rigging in elections, its claims about its own cases. So I would see those as the most important cases, and I think that should be the basis of dialogue. So it would be interesting to hear, a little more from People's Party on, what kind of, a strategy it is adopting to try to, narrow down the differences between the government and PTI. Now, I know this offer was made 2 or 3 weeks ago, but then there is also the fact that, it was Ramadan and then, Eid holidays. So if, the response has been slower, that could have also contributed to it. Now that, Eid is over and, next Monday will, be the first working days of a full week. So I think now would be the time for PPP to, resume the activities, come up with a fresh strategy, start talking to, people on both sides of the aisle to try to see, what kind of, common ground might exist. And in such situations, it's always helpful to start with, resolving smaller issues, which can
Do you think that Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf would you know uh, withdraw from the maximalist position it has taken in the past, that the government should accept their demands of releasing the PTI founder from the jail, despite the fact that he was convicted by the court of law, or they were also demanding that the last general elections were the sham elections, and they really not accepting the mandate given to the Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz by the people of Pakistan. So how these two demands could be compatible with all those suggestions or recommendations put forward by the Pakistan People's Party even?
Yeah, even if you look at the last round of negotiations, they had initially started with maximalist positions that, we will only talk to, the establishment. Then, they abandoned that. Then, they had 4 or 5 agenda points, starting with elections, the release of Imran Khan, and so on. But in the end, they came down to just two points, which was, having judicial commissions on a couple of issues, on the May 9th incidents, and then, the November 26th incident. So maybe the People's Party can, start with those 2 points and see how it can help bridge the gaps, because PMLN had made a counter offer to those demands, and then suddenly, the negotiations ended. So maybe that would be, the point of, picking up the threads from those two demands and then seeing how to build. So again, because it's a national matter of national importance, it's important to, have some degree of optimism and try afresh, and, think of, and People's Party is good at, political negotiations. Mr. Dardari has, a reputation for being, an ace political negotiator, and hopefully Bilawal might have, learned a few ropes from it. So if People's Party does it, and, it's a nationally important political party, it has more, platform than, say, JUIF or PKMAP, other parties who've tried to,
Very right, sir. Point well taken. Dr. Jasim, now with the change of government in Washington, D.C., there's been a new trade war all over the world, and the imposition of the new tariffs by President Donald Trump. And there is a hue and cry all across the globe. Iran, the countries like Iran, and they have the new interest in Afghanistan, and maybe their the trade difference, or I would say this the rivalry with China. How important and critical the Pakistani situation is, you think, in this fast changing regional and global situation?
Well, as soon as the Trump 2.0 took the Oval Office, uh, a new economic order is taking place. I must say that it's new economic reshaping of the world. Couple of first executive orders by the Trump, followed by very heavy tariffs on China, Canada, Mexico, with the prime objective to actually renegotiate the security situation, that the border is being used, especially for Mexico, for illegal trades and illegal immigrants, was one big reason. Another was, leveraging its position into again making the American economy as a superpower. So imposing tariffs across number of other countries. If you look at Pakistan, I mean, the trade volume is not too much. If we see that how much import we are getting from US is only $2 billion. And even last week, the Trump administration has also imposed a tariff on Pakistan, about, I think, 29% additional tariff. And as well as for India, it's not only Pakistan that they are, specifically targeting. Now, in addition to these tariffs, there is a bigger motive of how the Trump is envisioning through its advisors to make its economic stability with a little bit, turbulence in first couple of months or say 1 year and then regaining its power back is because number one, uh, it sees that the value for money. I mean, if a certain country is having a tariff of 100%, America is actually giving some subsidy. Now they don't want that anymore. That's the mandate. The Trump party was that they will drive America back again, and certain decisions are being taken. Now coming to Iran and Afghanistan, the particular objective of the involvement is looking at the broader security situation. Now, you've seen recently that the Trump has, given certain statements through various officers that, the Taliban is currently using the weaponries and those machines that were left by Americans, and he want them back, uh, which is true to some extent also. And Taliban will obviously be retaliating to give
If
him
we
the.
stay ourselves limited to what the tariff means, my point is President Trump or the White House, they impose tariff, to almost every country in the world, including Pakistan, and every country they are responding according to their own, advantages or disadvantages. How should Pakistan respond? We are facing this 29% of tariff additional to what 10% already were in place in the past. So now we are facing almost 39% of tariff to every product which would be exported from here to the United States of America. So how should we respond? Our finance minister already stated that we are opening a dialogue with Washington DC, so that we should discuss this critical issue. But what should be the perfect strategy to deal with this immediate issue?
Well, you see, there are certain immediate steps and there are certain long-term steps to actually come up with such a tariff crisis. It's not only relevant to US, it's for any other country that Pakistan is. Number one is to build its own um, industry, its own industrial sector growth, which is already, you can see, around Pakistan and 5E framework. The government is very seriously working on that through some other bilateral cooperations with the China ICOs and also some other Central Asian countries, and as well as some Asians. The Pakistan is again, doing the regional cooperation to develop its own in-house ability. Now, while this is being established and may take some time, the government, through various diplomatic channels, is again negotiating with the US, because Pakistan is one of the biggest effectee of the war on terrorism, number one. Number two, the climatic fund, which is being established in Pakistan, is among those top 5 to 10 countries who are at the max of being hit by such disasters. So these are the short-term measures, and the long-term are actually to develop our in-house capacity. Again, then question is, I mean, the volume is not to that extent, which is very damaging if the tariff is added. Certainly, Pakistan is not in a position to go for a counter tariff like Canada is doing, like probably India will do, and the China has already done that. So Pakistan is only here, will try to negotiate its trade agreements, reassure its support as a,
Point again. Of course, we really cannot respond the way Canada and China responded to President Donald Trump. Thank you so much for joining the show, Dr. Jasim Anwar, for your valuable time, Dr. Niaz Murtaza, Rashid Safi, and thank you very much, viewers, for watching the program. Thank you very much, and Khuda Hafiz.